Welcome to 10-Minute Magic, a monthly format covering news in the world of Magic the Gathering in 10 minutes or less. I am Joseph Dunlap.
And I'm Joe Butcher. This is what's been going on in Magic the Gathering this past month. First, Amonkhet cards spoiled.
April 3rd marked the beginning of the new spoiler season for Amonkhet, the new Magic the Gathering set due to release April 28th.
The new spoilers have revealed some of the mechanics for the set, including a reusing of the cycling mechanic first released in Urza's Saga of 1998-99 and reprinted in Alara. The other mechanic released is known as Embalm, a keyword ability. Embalm can only be activated when the creature with the ability is in the graveyard. Activating it by paying its costs creates a token copy of the creature, but it becomes a mono-white card and gains the zombie subtype on top of its other cards. Token cards featuring each of the creature cards, but in mummified form, will be released in order to emphasize the flavor of the ability. Finally, the third mechanic revealed is called Exert. When a creature with Exert ability is declared as an attacker, its controller decides whether to exert their creature or not. By exerting, they gain an effect based upon the creature, but in return, the creature does not untap during its controller's next untap step. The final currently spoiled part of Amonkhet leads nicely onto
Amonkhet Masterpieces. Much like Battle for Zendikar and Kaladesh, Amonkhet will have reprintings of older cards with special new artwork. These cards are known as the Amonkhet Invocations and include reprintings of cards such as Force of Will, Dark Ritual, and Vindicate. These cards feature new borders and artwork as well as stylized names in the likeness of Egyptian hieroglyphics. Controversial simply because the titles themselves are difficult to read, especially on Reddit where everything's controversial. The popular counter-argument is that the invocations are not intended for new players. However, they will appear on featured matches, so if there is any confusion about what card is on screen, it will become an issue. However, there are some in the Magic community just grateful that Wizards of the Coast is still willing to take risks. The full list was released on March 28th through a variety of methods including online and through professional teams and individual players such as Paul Cheon, Caleb Derwent, Neil Oliver, Team Channel Fireball Fire, and Team Channel Fireball Ice. The only cards that were not released on March 28th were those invocations featuring Amonkhet cards, which have been recently spoiled.
Modern Masters 2017. Whilst slightly outdated now, the third set of Modern Masters was released on Friday the 17th of March. A limited focus set, it looked to reprint high-demand popularity cards from the modern format. Spanning from 8th edition all the way through to Magic 2014, it released 249 cards in English, Simplified Chinese, and Japanese. Within the reprints, incredibly high-value cards were reproduced, including Tarmogoyf, Liliana of the Veil, and Snapcaster Mage. Modern Masters 3 consisted of 6 cycles: Shard Creatures, which were uncommon creatures with Shard mana costs; Shard Rares, a series of 5 rare spells; Shard Lands, 5 lands that enter tapped and produce 3 colours; enemy colour fetch lands, and all 10 guild gates and all 10 guild signets. The set released with 20 tokens, 1 emblem, and broke down into having 101 commons, 80 uncommons, 53 rares, and 15 mythic rare cards.
Mike Davis passes away. We are sorry to announce that Mark Davis has passed away after his battle with cancer. For those who don't know the name, he was a close friend of Richard Garfield, father of Magic the Gathering, who convinced Richard to travel to Seattle and pitch a game to the small company Wizards of the Coast. While the game being pitched was not Magic the Gathering, the next one was, and it took off in a big way. Mike ended up as a vice president of Wizards' R&D department, and was the namesake of the card Jayemde Tome. For those puzzled by this fact, Mike Davis's full name was James Mike Davis, and his initials were the inspiration for the card's name, JMD, Jayemde. He was also the man responsible for hiring one of the most well-known personalities in Magic the Gathering, Mark Rosewater, and became his mentor during the years following. Thank you, Mike, for your contributions, and we hope that you rest in peace.
Articles of the Week. Our first article this week is by Michael Glover, titled An Interview with a Wizard, designing the new Amonkhet Invocation Masterpiece series. Michael got lucky enough the other week to travel to Wizards HQ, where he was able to learn about the inner workings for the upcoming Amonkhet's block masterpieces. Michael's foray into the heart of Magic and his feedback lets us get a sneak preview into the inner workings and mechanics of the game and their logic behind the printing of the Amonkhet Invocations.
Our second article is titled 10 Important Things I Learned When Teaching People Magic the Gathering by Katie Roberts. Katie explains the top 10 things that she's learned through teaching the game of Magic the Gathering. She emphasizes playing simple cards with entertaining effects and how to approach the game dependent on the person you're teaching. Her insight gives some good information on how to teach a quite complicated game to a host of different players.
The final article this week is What is the Best or Worst Set in Magic the Gathering's History? By Craig Prof. Jones. Craig tries to tunnel down on what makes a good or bad set in Magic the Gathering. During his tour through the old sets and to newer, Craig puts his opinions on each one and what he thinks went well or badly in that set. From Alpha all the way to Aether Revolt, Craig provides an entertaining view on how badly Wizards of the Coast messed up a set, or identifies the reasons why it succeeded. Marcus Rutoniemi comments, "Thanks for the trip down memory lane, was a fun read. Looking back, I find that Magic's flavour has been surprisingly solid over the years. The early sets might have been generic, but they were also resonant. In my opinion, the flavour low points are the pointlessness of the Masks block and the bland garbage fantasy the Odyssey Onslaught blocks, even if there were sweet cards." Vardaris Vardaridis gives his judgment, saying, "Interesting article. I play MTG since the period between Alliances and Mirage, so now after reading this I consider myself a little bit of a dinosaur too, and it's not very happy though. I think it is not easy to judge sets from different eras since they were made with different things in mind and aim to please different audiences. Newer sets try to please much more and diversify people since Magic has grown much more since the late 90s and naturally has incorporated groups of people who see the game from different perspectives compared to the past. I like to think of Mirrodin as the set which passed us from old school Magic to classic Magic, and Zendikar which introduced us from classic Magic to modern Magic." Unfortunately, that's it for this week. Thank you very much for listening. If we missed anything you wanted to hear more about, dive deeper into, or want to let us know just how much you enjoy the show, then leave us a comment on social media or find the text form of this episode on manaleak.com/mtgUK and we will endeavour to respond to you all. You can find Joseph on Twitter
At Joseph_Dunlap.
and myself at Darth Mulligan, or you can follow at 10 Minute Magic on Twitter and keep in touch with us there. Until next time, bye bye.